if there was one thing that was incredibly prominent in 2020, well, it would be the disease, the forest fires, and the nearly World War III. But one of the things that was pretty popular, probably the most hyped up game of the fucking decade, is Cyberpunk 2077 or 2077. That sounds less cool, but you know what? Whatever. I'll say it. Cyberpunk, it had an unrealistic amount of hype. If people bought the game and they didn't fucking go to heaven, people would probably be disappointed. Like, they had an unrealistically huge amount of hype. Like, people were making memes. Fucking everyone was hyped for this shit. I was hyped for this shit. And then like a week later, I completely forgot it even existed. And then, after seeing it again, I feel like I'm basically like, oh, that exists. I remember that. Anyways, it didn't live up to the hype, obviously. But imagine if it did, though. Like, if it lived up to even a fraction of the hype, it would instantly slot itself, break into the gamer world and give itself number one. No, and nobody would even fucking complain if it even lived up a fraction of the hype. Do you know what would have happened if it lived up to 100% of the hype? Reality itself would probably fucking break. Jesus would come down on Earth, play this game, and say, "Hey, this is pretty good," and and God Himself would congratulate humanity for making such a masterpiece. And world peace will be established. Humanity will go to the stars. But unfortunately, it didn't live up to the hype, so that didn't happen. But anyways, what did happen is that we got a pretty good game, I guess. Well, I guess you could say it's alright. Well, let's talk about the downside, and then we'll talk about the positives. And one thing about that's very, very prominent is the bugs. The game-breaking bugs, the bugs that you can't even finish a quest bugs. Some bugs, they're game breaking, but they're not like super game breaking. I usually don't encounter that much, but I do encounter them, and I have to reload to save and maybe fucking I don't know, make a hypothesis in case what would happen. I try out all combinations, and eventually I get the game working again. But the game itself, very buggy, very very fucking buggy. They need to fix that. Anyways. What's next? I guess let's talk gameplay. I guess the combat, the gunplay, the dashing. I mean, it's good. I guess, but it ain't that great. The combat, it's very stiff, incredibly stiff, stiffer than my erect cock. But you know what? We're not gonna talk about that. It's incredibly stiff. It's like the bare bones minimum of FPS shooters. The RPG, it's alright. There was never really a time where I had to min-max and shit. Like, oh, I have to use the best weapon I have or else I won't beat this boss. No, that never really happened all that much. I played on hard because I wanted the game to kick my ass, and it did sometimes. Oh yeah, the AI is pretty inconsistent, dare I say. On one hand, they're the dumbest motherfuckers in existence. Like, they're both blind and deaf. I shoot them in the fucking head, and they just walk it off. They didn't even fucking notice me. They're both blind, deaf, and and fucking touch. They can't even feel anything. How are they even holding a gun? I don't fucking know. And on the other hand, you got basically God Himself. It's like fighting God's apprentice, It's like fighting. I'm trying to find a word that's descriptive of the enemy AI. Fuck it. It's like trying to fight basically a Captain America if he had no morals, It's like trying to fight Captain America except with cybernetic enhancement and the fact that he has no morals. Guns, grenades, and the fact that he can one-shot you. Also headshots. Fucking hell. It's like that, alright? Shit. Anyways, the gameplay is not certainly the best part about the game itself, but what is, and there are a lot of bugs, but if you can ignore all that, you have a game that's focused on the story, and we're gonna focus on the story. I mean, I guess, sure, so the story itself, it is pretty good. I am I like the narrative. I like the writing style. I like this. I'm very interested in a lot of these characters. The story is very good, but the game itself very buggy, stiff. Sometimes just go full stealth. It's easier that way. Anyways, so that's kind of it, really. I give the game a 7 out of 10. It would be a 9 out of 10 if all the problems I stated in this video were fixed, but they're not fixed just yet. Now, should you buy the game? Yes, but not now. Maybe wait like a month, probably 2 months, and then buy the game. And then you probably have a proper game that's good, that has good, enticing story and alright gameplay. Yeah, and that's kind of it. My review of Cyberpunk. The project, what the fuck are they called? CD Projekt Red, I think. It looks like the developers are trying to fix the problems, and good on them, you know. I want them to fix the problems and make the game better overall. Also, you shouldn't play this game on the PlayStation, PS4, Xbox, whatever. You know, it'll completely destroy your Xbox. You put that shit in, the moment you attempt to play the game, your Xbox simply explodes. Yeah, that's basically what happened. It explodes, causing a miniature nuclear explosion that not only destroys you, your house, your neighbors, your friends, your family, because apparently it's impossible to do that. And if you can, you get a barely playable game. So play on PC, please. I beg of you. Anyways, that's kind of it. The game itself, it's good, but it isn't like good. So yeah, wait 2 months, then buy and play the game. I guess this is what happens, you know. When people set unrealistically huge expectations, like how the fuck did that even happen in the first place? Like, I'm fairly certain if when people bought the game and then a robot prostitute comes and sucks your dick and no longer makes them a virgin, they'll be disappointed, you know. If they play the game and they instantly didn't grow chest hair, an S10 pack, and super chiseled ass muscles, I'm fairly certain they would also be disappointed. When the fuck did people have such unrealistic expectations for games? I don't know when the fuck that happened, but it's alright. Anyways, wait 2 months, play the game, buy whatever. That's my tip of advice. You can play the game right now if you want. I don't recommend it, but you can. Or just, you know, watch other people play it. You get a feel for yourself of what the gameplay is like. And that's kind of it, really. That's kind of it. See ya.